Okay, everybody, welcome. My name is Nick Crimp. I'm the conservation agent here in Leominster. It is 6:01 p.m. on June 25th, 2024. I will start with a roll call of commissioners present. Mike Seekey.
Here.
Nick Venti.
Here.
Bob Seacard.
Aye.
Chuck Raymond.
Here.
And absent are Steph Quinlan, Rich Gullick, and Jim Chambers, although we are expecting Steph Quinlan at some point today. But we have 4 out of 7, so that's a quorum. So we can go ahead and get started. I'll pass off to my chair, Chuck Raymond.
All right, thank you, Nick. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you. So for the call to order, what we like to do is start off by opening up the agenda to public comments for anybody that has an issue about the commission that isn't already on the agenda. If you're already on the agenda, we'll get to you. But are there any other issues, questions for the commission? No? Okay. I want to make sure I check. All right, good. Under new hearings, nothing there. Well, flying down the agenda. Please don't stop us from flying down the agenda.
Let me just note for the record,
Yep.
Jim Chambers present.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you have an agenda, Jim? Yeah, take that. We'll give her one if she comes in. Give you a second to get settled. We're just about to start. All set? Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and read the first one into the record. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent for the construction of two single-family houses, address 699 and 711 Willard Street, map and parcel 398-28A, 398-28B, and 398-27A. I guess we just got the DEP number today. It's 199-1197. Sir, introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, my name is Anthony Cleaves. I'm with Haley Ward here on behalf of Brennan Industries. So you may recall last time we went through the project, I think quite extensively, had a lot of various questions, which I believe we had answered all of them. We had an updated plan submitted before the last meeting, pulling some things away from the wetlands as was requested during the site walk, which we'd already went over that last time. So I believe the last thing we're waiting for was the DEP file number, which we did get today. Just want to point out there was one comment listed as part of that file number, and it is the applicant should show the final proposed tree line on the plan. So we show the erosion control, which is that dashed line around the perimeter. And this one, I think we actually talked about that. Geez, do we need to have that much erosion control? I think the nature of the topography and some of the filling on the site, we thought it was warranted to basically encompass the whole project with that erosion control. And as is standard, the erosion control basically becomes your limit of work. So the extent of clearing would go up to the erosion control, and that essentially becomes where your tree line is. So happy to, if you want us to revise the plan, happy to do that. We didn't for tonight, but if that's something you want us to do, we can certainly do that. But I think it was clear kind of what the limit of work is going to be.
Yeah.
But that was it.
All set?
Yeah, thank you.
I saw that comment as well. Thank you very much for bringing it up. And this is no reason to have to continue this or give a new set of plans. But if you could, after the fact, provide a new set of plans and just say, however on your plans, the limit of clearing is the same as the erosion control border is the same as the limit of clearing. If you could just note that on the plans and just submit a new one to Nick.
Yeah.
That would suffice it for me. Anybody else have any questions, comments, anything?
Yeah,
Bob.
just a quick one. Anthony, is that really the tree line where there are trees now presently there, or are you cutting down to that point?
Yes. Yeah. So it's wooded throughout that whole area.
Okay.
Yeah. It's here's the GIS. This red is one portion. The other one is right there. So it's undisturbed. A lot of poison ivy. But so essentially, and then here's a colored version. I don't know if you'd seen that before, but essentially we're going to clear right up to the erosion control. The erosion control is tight to the limit of grading, and so we try to keep that as tight as we could. But essentially, and if there's trees they can save, that's working with this developer, they do try and do that. it makes it a better lot, but there's a lot of earthwork that needs to take place there, so I think anything within that area will probably have to go, otherwise, if you try and save it, it'll die eventually.
Good.
All set, Bob?
Yep.
Anybody else? Yeah, again, just if you just indicate that the limit of clearing is coincident with the,
So, I think
so the
that,
erosion control is coincident with the limit of clearing, sorry.
that might be a little much, obviously, honestly, because, like, if we end up voting on this tonight, then the accepted plans are gonna be whatever plans we have.
Oh, is that
up to
right?
this point.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so, but I do agree that just the limit of work.
There's a
on
comment
the
from Mr.
plans-
Merrill.
Yes.
that probably.
I could make a suggestion, you could just write into the order of conditions that the erosion protection is the limit of work and clearing.
We'll do that. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do that, all right, that's easy.
Yeah.
So, what I told you before, never mind.
Okay.
Or what I asked you before, I should
Yeah.
say. I'm not telling you anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so we'll write that into the order of conditions that the
Mhm.
erosion control line is
Sorry.
the coincident with the limit of clearing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt, appreciate the tip.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody up here is all set, and any comments, questions from the public? For those in attendance, no? Okay. So I'll go ahead and request a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Michael, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Nick.
I will take the commission's vote by roll call. Bob Seacard.
Aye.
Nick Dempsey.
Aye.
Mike Seeke.
Aye.
Jim Chambers.
Aye.
Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 5-0.
Moving on then, I will entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent as described here with the one additional condition that make sure I word this correctly again, that the erosion sediment control border is coincident with the limit of clearing. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bob.
Take the commission's vote by roll call. Nick Dempsey.
Aye.
Mike Seeke.
Aye.
Bob Seacard.
Aye.
Jim Chambers.
Aye.
And Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
Motion passes and order is approved.
Super.
Great, thank you very much for your time, really
Thank you,
appreciate
Anthony.
it.
All right.
Have a good rest of your evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Have a good July 4th holiday next week.
Yeah, thanks, you too.
So which one are you gonna do? The order that tonight? Just this one? Yeah, okay. All right. Moving on. I'll read this one into the next one under continued hearings. I'll read it into the record. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent for tree cutting and lawn expansion. Address 69 Bel Air Heights, map and parcel 566-50, new DEP number 199-1196. Is somebody to present on the topic? All right. I know you were here last time. Please introduce yourself again.
Good evening, Justin Kerouac, resident of the property.
Justin, good to see you.
You too.
What are we doing?
Basically, just to bring everyone up to speed here, Justin came in at the last meeting where we opened the discussion. It's an after the fact notice of intent filing. Everyone should be aware of that except Bob, or did you watch the video from the last meeting? Because you were not here at the last meeting, correct?
Oh, I was here.
I believe everyone was here
Yeah,
last.
they were full meeting last time, yeah.
Okay, that's my mistake
Like a
then.
full house.
Okay, yeah, that's, everyone should be brought up to speed. We were just basically waiting on a DEP file number and their comments, which they have since issued. And the comments just go into, the wetland line on the plan appeared to cross over the limit of disturbance, which it does slightly on the plan. However, that's not true to reality. The plans are kind of broad strokes. It's a lot of very straight lines where it doesn't exactly match up with what's going on the ground. So the limit of clearing and the limit of disturbance does come close to the wetland line, but it doesn't actually cross into it, as Mike, who's been on the site, can attest to. And Rich, our vice chair, was also there, but he's not present for the meeting. But I was also there, and I can also attest to that. So their comments just basically addressed that possibility and said that if there is wetland filling, then that needs to be addressed with replication and all that. However, that's not the case for this. So that was the extent of their comments, and they've issued a file number. So if people are ready, we could hold a vote tonight, but that's up to the commission, so.
All right, thank you, Nick. You all set? Anything you want to add to the conversation or anything?
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right, good.
I just have one
Please,
question.
yep.
Did you get a chance to tighten up the silt fence?
So
Yes.
the only reason I haven't, because I'm gonna put the straw wattles back.
Okay.
If I got denied for this, then I didn't want to spend $500 on straw.
Gotcha.
That was, but it will go up before
Fair enough.
anything moves down there, so.
Yep.
All right. All right, I was looking at the DEP comments, and first of all, I think your plan looks fine. We would have rather if you come before us ahead of time, but here we are. So no, I think with the erosion and sediment control placed in, this looks good, but I did like one of the DEP comments, was that they will propose some type of, quote, permanent fixture to prevent further encroachment into the border and certainly into the wetland. Like a permanent fixture, like some kind of fence or a wall.
Yeah,
Uh,
landscaping stone.
Yeah, split rail fence, landscaping stone, something, just again, but what this would require was an amended plan, so we can't vote on the whole thing tonight. But if that meets your approval, me speaking personally, I'd be prepared to vote for that.
Guess the only thing on my part for that is we're very limited experience in doing this. I would just like something clear of what would be wanted and accepted without also looking like a messy disaster.
Oh, yeah, no, a permanent fixture, just some type of, it could be just a simple wall or a simple fence. Nothing complicated, doesn't need to be a 6-foot tall chain link fence. Just something that kind of demarks the area in that you're not gonna be going past that.
Okay.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
The type of permanent fixture is up to you,
Okay.
really.
And
Chuck, doesn't the stone wall provide that?
along the one end.
Yeah, along one side,
Definitely
yeah.
the eastern side of it.
On the eastern side, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And I don't, I think I might have misheard you, but I feel like it would be appropriate to put that in as a condition and not strictly require it. On the plan, we could word it like, you know, put in some permanent fixture of the owner's choosing, whether it be like a rail, fence, stones, what have you, along the limit of disturbance as depicted on the plans.
I can go with that, I would also maybe add, subject to the conservation agent's review and approval, something along those lines.
Well, we're gonna give a certificate of compliance.
But that could be in the condition.
In the
as
condition
on
for on the NOI, yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah, exactly. Is that amenable to you?
Can you just point out where
Oh, my
Yeah,
mistake here, so.
Well, it's not on that one, so don't.
It's a long way from there.
Yeah.
It's actually not that far from there.
That's true, yeah, it's down the street, yeah. Sorry for making you dizzy, everybody.
Yeah, my bad. Almost there.
I can't
There it
watch
is.
anymore.
All right. So, this is the limit of clearing, approximately, this yellow line. This is the wetland flagging, the blue lines. This is that area that DEP had addressed in their comment.
So yeah, you've got the stone wall up there on the top left.
Oh, yeah.
So
Along this property
that
line.
serves as the boundary there, but if you, around the other, certainly, Nick, may I jump up here?
Yeah, please.
I'm not trying to re-engineer your,
Nope.
so yeah, somewhere up the 55 line and then somewhere down along here, just to prevent further.
The 75-foot line too on the left too as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere
Yeah.
where there's not already a barrier such as
Right,
that stone
right.
wall.
Yeah, like I said,
The pool is there, and right?
No, the pool's up the hill. It's, I don't know,
Right,
I don't know if
right,
it fits
yeah.
on that.
I think you can see, yeah, it's
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so somewhere in that area, those three lines, and again, the type of permanent fixture is up to you. Again, split rail fence, stone wall, something.
I ask, what's the purpose of that?
Well, this is all within the 100-foot buffer, just to prevent further encroachment towards the wetland.
This is a DEP comment.
It was a
that they
DEP
just
comment, yeah.
Recommended to
Yeah.
prevent further encroachment. As people, you know, as the owner mows and maybe the property switches hands and things like that, just to prevent.
Yeah, honestly, in my head, it's mostly in case he sells the house. You
Yeah.
don't know who's gonna move in there and oh, geez, I'm gonna Cut another 50 feet of
Could it
woods.
just be a granite boundary marker?
No, that's just in the corner, they don't, they're easily blown past.
It's a pretty big expense, though.
You can keep it simple, though. You can keep it simple. Yeah, I don't want you to go to any undue expenses, but something simple, just that's there and it indicates the border, not the border, but the.
So what's the plan moving forward here at the site?
So for the rest of what I have left is just a couple more loads of fill and then loom it and seed it, just make it
Okay,
in a
so-
lawn expansion.
Yeah.
No more tree cutting, certainly.
Right, yeah.
Just
and-
just
and-
reseeding of the,
The erosion control is already
Okay.
there. Yeah.
The one thing that, I don't think you've been out to the site yet, there's
No.
one stump that's half dug up. I don't
Okay.
know, I would like to rip it out if possible, but if it needs to be refilled, you know, I can bury it back in. There was an issue with it being, I thought it was completely dead till we cut it and then, Rich
Yep.
had mentioned, he said the cross-section on it looked like it was still alive, but this thing had split 10 feet up and collapsed. So I started digging up the stump, and that's when Nick had come, kinda stopped me there.
I see.
But
What kind of tree is it?
Pine.
Yeah, it's not gonna stump from, it's not gonna sprout from a stump. It just won't.
I just wanted to make sure before I go.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna sprout from a stump.
That's been my Moby Dick with that tree, so
Mhm.
I will get it out now if I can. but-
We can add a, because I don't know if you addressed the stump specifically in any of the plans that you
I
sent to me.
don't believe I did on that one, so I could have refilled it if needed. It's cut, you know, it'd be sticking this high out of the ground at this point. It's against the rock wall just about,
Hmm.
so it wasn't really in my way for what I wanted to clear. I cut that one down for safety, for
Mhm.
Yeah.
when this becomes a yard down there.
Being that, so if it's just this side of the wall, it's right near the wetland then, right?
It's on his side of the wall, yeah, it's on,
Yeah, it's up there on the top left there. from
it's
this.
right around
What
here.
about grinding it?
Right around in here.
if it's right against the wall, it's tough to cut, it's tough to grind.
Yeah, there could be other
Oh,
rocks.
it's a ways from the stone wall. They can get
Oh,
a
it
grinder
is.
in there.
I mean, I can get a backhoe bucket behind it still to dig. There's that much
Okay.
space.
Okay, it's not that close to the wall.
Yeah.
It's not part of the wall.
All right.
Yeah, it's not, it's not gonna break the wall up or anything like that.
But, yeah, so, but if you do end up leaving it, it's not gonna sprout again, so you cut a pine tree down.
But he's asking specifically to have permission. to-
No, understood,
Yeah.
No, understood, okay. All right,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I still don't understand the purpose of this barrier from keeping pedestrians going.
No,
or-
to keep further encroachment towards the wetlands. Again,
By who? By?
no, as I said.
Well, in the future, then
Yeah.
anybody would be required, if they were gonna do something, to come before the commission and get an approval for
But
doing the
but as
work.
it-
And they don't have, not every wetland in this town has a marked boundary
No.
around it.
As already shown, people don't know that the wetland regulations exist, as we've seen multiple times.
Well,
So that's no guarantee they're gonna come in front of us.
I don't think it's a proper burden myself.
Okay, well, you can vote as you see fit.
Well, I want to,
I think the wet.
I'd like to
wetlands are
approve
marked.
this project, but I don't
That's
want
right.
to put that
The
burden on
wetlands are
it.
marked at this point, right? They're flagged.
Yeah, they won't always be.
So the post and rail fence won't always be either. They last about 10 years and then they fall down.
Okay.
It's a common issue that DEP sees quite a bit, is just creep of lawns and expansion of lawns without proper wetland permitting, especially when it's as close as it is to the wetland line here. That said, I wouldn't be torn up if we didn't include that as a condition. It's up to the commission to decide as a body. But if that's the motion, then you should vote.
All right, put it this way, I would like to see us in there, but I will, what about asking for the commission's opinion on this particular condition?
Yeah, we can make a motion to add the condition to the potential
Okay, all right,
order.
all right. Before I get to that then, is there anybody here in the audience that has any comments or questions about this particular? Oh, you're in the audience, hold on. Okay, no, okay. Bob, go ahead.
Yes, I just got a question for you. Knowing what happened you know, and seeing the seriousness of the law and the situation that came about. Do you have any plans to replicate at all the intrusion into that wetland property, or replicate anything,
So
of the
no-
species back into it?
You're talking about like the buffer air to replicate that, because he didn't cross into any actual wetlands, this is all
Right.
buffer work.
Okay, yeah, but in the buffer. You wanna
I wanted to
seed
replant.
it now?
Correct. Well, not now, it's probably gonna be towards the end of the year at this point, but.
And what, there's a siltation fence there, but no hay bales?
It's, so the straw wattles, like, I had them up originally, and then I took them down when they all kind of blew up before the winter. And I was planning on putting those down. I had put the silt fence down, just, it was a little cheaper, but was not sufficient. So the straw hay bales, straw wattles will go back down before, I said, anything moves down there.
I mean, if the silt fence was put in properly, it would be perfectly fine.
I wasn't sure as far as, because proper way to do it is to break ground with the silt fence a little bit, bury it, which obviously wasn't
You don't wanna
breaking
dig it,
any more
you don't
ground.
wanna dig it up anymore. but,
Right.
You know, a little bit of dirt over the bottom of the silt fence to save you some money wouldn't be a total, bad thing to do. I mean, the wattles are expensive, so, I mean, that's up to you.
Matt, you had something? You wanted?
Yeah, if I can go up to the
Please,
screen.
yeah, please.
So, Matt Morrow, Morrow Environmental Consulting, Leominster, Massachusetts.
01453.
The 1453 dash whatever the other digits are. I'm also the wetland scientist that demarcated the wetland on this gentleman's property for him. Actually, that drawing there, partly I contributed to. So the wetland construct here, you have a culvert that comes out with what I would call an inferral stream. It just handles runoff and stormwater.
Would you call it a feral stream?
Inferral,
Oh,
yeah.
Enfer, okay, sorry.
So, the most I've ever seen, and I know this area pretty well, I usually only see it during snow melt, maybe during very heavy storms. So what you have here is you have an area where you still have a wetland system going to the stone wall with plenty of shade cover in it.
Mhm.
So, in going to Commissioner Seacart's question, this area over here, the reason why it looks like it overlaps into the buffer zone is because the actual clearing that's here went close to the wetland line, like within 5 feet. It was just very tough for me to scale this on, so it kind of looked like it just nudged it a little bit. But there's still sufficient distance where if he loams and seeds the area that he cleared out, cleans it up, puts loam and seed down in here and makes it a backyard, the area down here is a moderate slope that would come down, the runoff would go in here. The runoff coming directly off the road would go through the existing wetland system, which still has a good tree canopy over it. The BVW is still intact, so it will do its function there. So you shouldn't really see any significant changes in stormwater patterns and in water quality entering into the wetland, as long as he does what he says he does and just grasses the area out. As far as future intrusion into the wetland, the reason why this was intruded on was because it was totally canopied and there was no usable space. That's why he originally started to do this. So if the space is in here, the actual creek going into the wetland becomes a little bit less likely. Not impossible, but a little bit less likely. So just want you to consider that factor in there as well.
Okay.
So I just wanted you to know what I saw when I was out there for the construct on that wetland. I actually had gone by the property, I want to say a couple months ago on something else, and it looked like it was in pretty good shape, so I think you'd be good to go.
Okay. All right, thank you, Matt.
Well, you have to remember that the lines are about 10 feet wide.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Well, something else?
Yeah, my concern, I guess, is, what is the time frame to stabilize this piece of property here that you've torn up?
So the last couple loads of fill, just as I said, to kind of make it smooth at this point, get rid of the ruts and everything, I want to get that done during the summer. I don't want to, I'm not going to seed in July because
No.
it's going to be a waste of seed. And if we start getting, if we get a wet July like last year, I didn't want to put the loom down right now and lose all the loom. But at least the fill would be stable for now, and then maybe sometime in September, get the loam on top, seed that so it can start to be growing hopefully in the spring.
And that'll at least stabilize it a little bit in the fall before winter hits.
I mean, a lot of it is growing back naturally. already so far.
Yeah,
I
okay.
can see it,
All right.
going back.
If
Did
he
it
loses
answer your
seeds
question,
in
Bob?
mid-September,
Yeah.
if you lose the seeds in mid-September and you have a decent fall, it should start growing
Yeah,
insufficiently
yeah.
for him.
Yeah, should
By
start growing
spring,
in a
it would
couple
be
of
nice
weeks,
and
yeah.
full.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
he is correct.
All right. All right, so before we get to the final one, let's just get a feel for the thoughts of the commission. For the show of hands, how many would approve of the condition to put in some type of permanent fixture of the applicant's decision, or the applicant's choosing? 2, 3, okay, so that's 3 to 2, okay, all right then. All right, then I'll entertain a motion, before we get, so we need to close this thing. It's- Jeez. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mike. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Nick. All right,
Okay.
now we did that, thank you.
Take a roll call of the commissioners for the vote. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Mike Seeking,
What are we voting for?
the public.
Close the public hearing of the
Aye.
portion. Always,
Bob
always good to be certain of that.
Thank
Bob
you.
Seacard, Jim Chambers,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Nick. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent as described by the applicant and his representative, with the condition that some type of permanent fixture be put in of the applicant's choosing, but subject to the agent's review and approval. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Question.
Yes,
I thought we were gonna make a motion on whether or not to include it, and then we could vote on that.
I did have the
Well, that
motion.
was just a show of hands, so it's not a record vote.
We could, I mean,
Okay,
we could do that.
so you'd like a motion to include that condition in the first place?
Yes, and then have a motion
Hmm.
on the project itself, or the NOI.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, then, all right, then I will entertain a motion then to include, I thought we did this. Make a motion then to include some type of permanent fixture of the applicant's choosing, but subject to the agent's approval, around the described 3 sides of the projects to prevent further encroachment into the bordering, the BBW and/or the wetland.
Which, can we,
Yeah, I'll show you.
can we articulate this?
Yep. It'd be, that's already, it's not that, here, here, and up there, so those 3 sides.
Okay.
Isn't there a stone wall along the 55-foot area too?
No, that's, it just kind of crossed into my neighbor's yard
Okay.
at some point from there.
So, I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay. I will take the commissioners' vote by roll call. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Mike Seeking,
Nay.
Bob Seacard, and Jim Chambers,
Nay.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right, so that's 3 to 2, motion passes.
All right. And then there's another example of how we don't all have to vote in lockstep, so that's good. No, you're welcome. All right, moving on then, I'll entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent as presented by the applicant and his representative, with the added condition that we just voted on and approved. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Michael. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Nick.
All right, I will take the commission's vote by roll call. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Mike Seeking,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Hey,
Jim Chambers, and Chuck Raymond.
Aye. Did you get all that?
So motion to approve the order of conditions with the added condition for the permanent fixture passes 4 to 1.
Okay. And but you got the initial one too?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Okay,
All right.
Must be good.
All right, perfect. Thank you, sir, good luck.
Thank you.
So I will get you that, probably next week.
Okay,
I'll get
great.
you that order.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.
I would like to request that we move, item number 2, enforcement, up above, certificate of compliance for some scheduling conflicts.
Okay, so go into enforcement now?
Yep. And then we
Okay.
can do certificate of compliance after that.
Okay. All right, so at the agent's recommendation, we'll move enforcement up above both of the enforcements?
Yep.
Okay, move both the enforcements up above certificate of compliance and then get to that, go back to that one. So under enforcement, Elm Street clearing, parcel 519-12A, restoration plan. Sir?
Good evening, long time no see.
Indeed.
For the people here for the certificate, I won't take long, I promise.
That's okay.
Yeah.
He knows me too well. So, okay. Nick, I don't know if you have Bill Hannigan's original plan too, because I know the one I kept trying to go in, I mean, you can put that one up, that should work. It looks a lot better on your screen than it did coming out.
Yeah, it's a little warped, but.
It was weird because something was up with my scanner and I still haven't fixed it yet, so.
I get the idea.
Oh, that wasn't the topology that?
No, I wasn't trying to, create a 3D topo map on there. So that was the original plan that Bill Hannigan did, which I have here, if anybody wants to peruse a hard copy.
This is the original?
This is the original.
Okay.
So essentially, you guys had approved a prior lot
Yes.
for a single-family home construction with a septic system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if you, cable guy wants to zoom in on this, because it's not shown on the screen. This is the plan I'm referring to. This is a plan I believe was done back in 2021 by Hannigan Engineering for the construction of a lot. And then there was an empty lot next door to it on the corner of Hill and Elm Street. This lot owned by Mary Foley was cleared. It was cleared of the trees and cleared of herbaceous vegetation, which the commission then issued an enforcement order on and required a remediation plan.
And that image is from that.
That image is from this plan. So essentially, the current condition of the site is that it's actually starting to grow back in. The area is covered very well in herbaceous. The area, Nick, I don't know if you've been up there since it started growing back in,
A couple weeks ago.
but the area where I flagged the stream system coming down, the wetland is growing right at its limits, right basically as I pegged it. So the hydraulic flow is almost completely restored. We'll have, I asked Steve not to do anything quite yet on the site until we had a chance to approve this final plan. He will go back in and he will cover that trench back up and he will daylight any water flow that was coming off the trench, coming out, heading back into that meandering portion of the wetland system that connects the wetland up top to the wetland down on the corner. On the top of the screen is the large wetland system that goes to the corner of Hill and Elm Street, right across from Richard's Kennel.
Yeah.
So the area there, what I'm proposing is just to have, I think I put 2-inch DBH saplings. You can get away with 1.5 inch. You've already got some ground saplings starting to already reestablish themselves. So if we throw in some red maples, which are facultative, so they can go in the uplandy section and right around the wetlandy section with no problem, and you do some red oak, it'll make a nice mix. There was white pine in the area, saplings will just come right back in on its own.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing like 12 shrubs and 12 trees, and I've got the shrubs written down there. They're very easily obtainable commercially. The only reason why I'm not overcrowding it with trees is, like I said, and you guys saw it, it's already starting to grow back in. So I want to get the 1.5 inch caliper trees will be like 6 feet tall. So they'll start growing in and they'll start establishing more shade, but what I don't want happening is so many trees planted on the site that they start crowding each other out. I don't want out competing. So if we just scatter the trees around the upland sections of the site, put the shrubs alongside the meandering section of the wetland, that'll make a nice vegetative buffer for now for any flow that goes through it. It really doesn't take much to add to the vegetative buffer. So you get 5-gallon buckets of plants. You throw them in, along each side, should do the track.
Okay.
That's really all you need to do. I can go there and monitor it however you guys want. I can give you a report at the end of like October to see how it's doing, and then next June, and then next October, complete with photographs saying, okay, this is what it looks like, it's still growing in, we've got good growth, good shade. That way you have something on record to keep track to show that it's done. As long as they just reestablish the flow and leave the site alone and let it regenerate, it's already doing that on its own. I had something in Lancaster that was a 28,000 square foot alteration that was very similar. It just, bang, it had a good seed base that wasn't taken away, and it just started regenerating on its own, so.
It's amazing what Mother Nature will do if you leave it.
Oh yeah, if you just leave it alone, it'll go boom.
All right, you all set?
I am, thank you.
Okay, so you mentioned the report the end of October this year, see what's happening then. And what did you say about next year? Would you say two?
End of June.
End of June? Okay.
So you wanna go like end of June, end of October, like this year would be end of October because of the timing.
Right,
And then you go end of June, end of October, and then end of June, the year after.
okay. Okay. I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't, because June's still towards the beginning of the year, I wouldn't mind seeing a report the end of next year as well. Make it 3. So October
That's-
this year?
October this year, June of next year, and October
Oh,
of next year.
okay, all right, I misunderstood you, sorry about that, okay. Yeah, that sounds fine to me. No, I like this, I like the list of species. I circled BDH, I'm like, what the hell is BDH? You said DBH, oh, okay.
Yeah, the,
Happy fingers on the typewriter?
well, it's not the happy fingers, it's, I'm actually mildly dyslexic, so sometimes I tend to reverse my letters.
Sorry about that.
That's
Sorry
okay.
about that. Didn't-
We won't even get into the ADD part.
Yeah, great.
You're on
Conversation for
vacation,
all
it's
this.
okay.
Yeah, no, I don't have any questions or comments. Anybody else have any, on the commission, any comments, questions?
What's gonna happen with the stumps that are already pulled?
You leave them, just, well, they've gotta
Do
take
we
the
really
stumps
wanna
off.
leave 'em?
You know, you gotta take the stumps that are pulled off-site, but the
That's
stumps
fine.
that are left,
Yeah,
leave them.
no, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
the ones that are sitting above ground, they're eyesore.
Yeah, he's got plenty of places he can take them to get ground up.
Okay.
I have a question. Is the trench on the west side of the lot still full of gravel, or is that? is it
No,
not?
it was partially full of gravel. It's not, the whole thing isn't full of gravel at this point, no.
Okay. Is that gravel to be removed?
Everything's gotta be removed, it's gotta be, the ground's gotta be put back in, you
Okay, so
can't.
that gravel will be removed?
See, the thing is doing a French drain over there, you're risking creating another stream, and if you look at the plan,
Yeah, I mean, that's a big,
there's a septic system right here, right near the edge of the lot.
yeah.
So establishing the stream here, it becomes problematic under Title V for the system. So
But
you
that was
just-
established, wasn't it? That's
The
already-
stream is here, but if, he's talking about over here,
I
where
was, I
they,
was asking
where they
whether
trench.
whether
They
the
trench.
gravel has been
so
removed.
the gravel's gonna have to be removed, and everything is gonna have to be buried back to its natural condition, and the water's gonna have to be daylighted out here.
Yes.
Again, reason being, if the stream was to establish here, it would create a Title V issue here, because it would be very close to the septic system.
But that gravel was in there when the Title V septic system went in.
It's gonna have to be removed.
The gravel on the,
On his property, not
Thought
on,
we
not on the
wanted
abutter's property.
I thought we wanted that put back in the condition it was in.
yeah, so he's talking about the trenching that, it wasn't Steve Harper put it in, but the contractors that were there.
The original contractor that was there had nothing to
With
do
the-
with that lot.
With this recent clearing, there was a separate trench that is probably the origin of that finger wetlands stretching up there.
Right.
Is that what, or?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that one's
Yeah,
being
yeah.
left alone, and that one actually is functional.
Okay,
He's talking
and
about the
it's-
trench, the new one.
okay.
The trench on this lot, that's.
Yeah,
runs
no,
north-
that's gonna
runs north to
be,
south.
that's
That
gonna be restored to
that
natural
is
condition.
currently has gravel in it, and the gravel will be.
Has to be removed.
Okay, and that's in the plan? Is that in your restoration?
No, but I can add it in. It'll
Okay.
take me
I-
2
I
seconds to
didn't
add it.
see
It'll
it.
take me 2 seconds to add a sentence and then
Okay.
send it to Nick.
Okay, thanks.
But wouldn't gravel provide more leaching for the septic system than soil?
Well, there's already, that's already been accounted for in the construction on that lot. It seems to be functioning fine. There's already a diversion area with groundwater being taken off the site on this side of the line, coming up here.
Like
Yeah.
here,
And
maybe closer to the well.
Well, it's actually on his side of the lot line.
Oh, it's on the.
Yeah, it's,
on the west.
it fools you.
Yeah, okay.
There's a trench here with gravel that was dug by this contractor.
Yeah.
And then there's an area that was dug for the installation of this septic system. It has a pipe coming out this way, which actually is still on his lot line, which was to divert groundwater away from the system, and that's functioning. And all that's really gonna do is continue to feed this wetland system here, so.
Okay.
I mean, it
That,
should be okay.
that was all, from the other property, that was all in place before.
That's correct.
This clearing, yeah.
So just to make sure, because now I'm getting confused on this. So when I went, I haven't been out there in a while. Last time I was out there was late in winter, I think. So there was no regeneration yet at all. And when I was out there on the, up here and down here, there were two big trenches dug.
Right, and that's
And they-
on
and
that
they-
lot.
And they were starting to put gravel in. That's what we would want those, that's the gravel we want removed.
That's the
and those
gravel that's
trenches
being,
filled in.
that's correct.
Just want to make sure they were in, okay. Sounds good. We don't need a, oh, first of all, any other comments, questions? Jim?
What was the intent of the clearing in the first place?
You put a house lot in, didn't they?
I'm assuming they thought they could put a house lot in there.
Right, and is that not still on the table?
It's
or-
not feasible.
No, because that wetland system that stretches
Right,
up to
so
the
I just
middle of
wanted
the.
to ensure that this wetlands excludes further development.
Right,
Yeah,
the
I
wetland
mean,
going right through the middle of it.
Yeah.
it's maybe possible in some universe, but it would require a lot of replication. That would probably prohibit the cost of it.
Yeah, and with the way the water is basically channeled going through there and what we'll reestablish, the state would actually consider that as covering a stream, and they don't allow that. So if they move the stream over to do a replication, which would involve a lot more documentation, it would become a problem, which is what I was saying earlier for the system next door. It would be too close to the Title V system. So it would cause a problem to the neighbors. So Title V alone would not allow for that, never mind all the hoops you gotta jump through in wetlands. So it's just not possible on that line.
Thank, that was good, Jim, thank, appreciate you bringing that up. So there's nothing we have to vote on tonight, this is just further discussion, and do we need to approve?
We vote to approve the restoration,
Okay.
restoration plan,
Okay,
but I would,
I'll add that language.
yeah, I would say
Yeah.
just, that you hear a motion to approve the plan as presented with the added, point of, removing the stumps that have already been pulled, as well as, removing the gravel and filling in the trench
Okay.
that's still there.
okay. All right then, so without having to repeat all that.
Yes, okay.
I'll then entertain a motion to approve the restoration plan as presented by, and described by Mr. Morrow, along with the two added items that Nick mentioned regarding the trench and the stumps that have already been pulled.
I'll make a motion per Nick's description.
Good one, Jim, thank you for being brief. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Nick.
Third, I just want to hear your version, Chuck.
No, I'm not going there.
I'll take the commission's vote by roll call. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Mike Seeke.
Aye.
Bob Seacard.
Aye.
Jim Chambers. And Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
Okay.
Do we have a public comment on that, or was that,
This is just,
was just to include that in the condition, these two conditions and
yeah, no comment because it's not an NOI filing.
Okay.
This is just in response to a violation.
Okay, all right. All right, let's take a while, but good. Thank you, Matt.
I'm up for the next one too.
Yep.
Excellent, well, you sit right there then.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on, next enforcement, Mechanic Street clearing, parcel 372-3. I want to ask you to reintroduce yourself.
Okay, again, it's been a real long time. I know you missed me. So I'm here on behalf of McCarty Associates and for Guido. As you guys probably know, I did the flagging and the high water mark on the plans for Guido. And McCarty Engineering is doing the engineering work for this. I know that he turned around, cut some trees within the riverfront. I've been provided with a conceptual plan. Right now, they're doing, I guess, conceptual plans to figure out what they could do and could not do on that site. What would be allowed under the Wetland Protection Act. But as part of the technical release that they've given me on their progress print, they've given me all the facts and figures as far as where the riverfront is, what the total square footage is, what square footage that he cut, what square footage I need to restore.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take all of that information, superimpose this plan on another restoration plan like you have in front of you.
Yep.
And this commission, when's your next meeting?
July
July
9th.
9th.
July 9th. So prior to the July 9th meeting, which will probably be the weekend before because I'll be away on vacation next week, but
Yeah.
I'll be working on it anyway. You will have a restoration plan for your next meeting.
Okay.
For the riverfront.
Okay.
So now that I have what they're doing out here, I can work with Mr. Marchetti on, the regulations and what the regulations will allow for.
Mr. Marchetti is Guido?
No, Mr. Marchetti is Brian Marchetti from McCarty Engineering.
Oh, okay, sorry.
He's the
okay.
lead engineer on the
Got it.
project.
Okay, I'm with you.
So I'm gonna be working with them on that, and my first order of business is to get this restoration plan into you guys. So this will be a little bit more intensive with the plantings, because it's
thank you.
riverfront and there's a
Right.
large amount of it.
Can I ask a question?
Don't you very quickly, just I one first. So the conceptual, they still would like to put a building in there someplace?
They're looking at putting in a building someplace.
Okay, all right, so your plan will include putting a building in along with certain restoration efforts, et cetera, et
Well,
cetera.
right now, we wanna get the restoration work out of the way and have you guys look at it, because it's under
Okay, got it.
enforcement.
Yeah.
And then we can approach the NOI stuff after that.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you. Michael?
How do you determine the high water mark of the Nashua River?
In that area, it actually was pretty straightforward in a lot of it. The high water mark in the Nashua River, based on 310 CMR, is the first observable break-in slope. The first observable break-in slope was the high part of the bank, because it was flat. So, I mean, you take a step off, you go boom, right down into the drink. So the mean annual high water mark would be parallel to that first observable
Really?
break-in slope. So it's a little bit more, shall I say, conservative. So you're talking maybe a few feet more. I'm giving you guys a few feet more, but it's not anything that will eliminate the use of this property because I'm being too aggressive. The area coming in from behind Johnny Rowe Park, essentially you've got boulders that have been rolled in there. So it's the bottom of the boulders that's the high water mark.
Okay.
So. And when I actually flagged that, it was spring, right at annual high water season, so it made it real easy.
That excludes floods.
Yeah,
That excludes, it's a mean annual high water mark, not a max high water.
that's,
Right,
thank
right,
you, that's what I was
exactly.
getting at.
Yeah, yep.
It's effectively a backflow condition for the stream.
Yeah, in this area,
More or
yes.
less, yeah.
It's not like that in all areas, but on the straightaway,
Okay.
coming from the park, you're correct. It
Yes.
almost mimics Bankfull width.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? No? Okay. Oh, we look forward to seeing what you want. Well, look forward to seeing what you come up with.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Make a great kayak park.
Huh?
Make a great kayak park.
Actually, it really would. There's some good potential spots to launch off.
yeah.
All right,
Thank you, Matt.
appreciate your time, Matt. Thank
No
you.
problem. Good night, folks. I'll see you in July.
You will.
See you in
Happy
July.
4th.
Happy 4th, yeah. Happy Independence Day.
May the 4th be with you. And I will be in the
And also
Berkshires with
with
my
you.
family.
All right.
Wow.
Wonderful.
All right, moving on then, certificate of compliance. 22 Jamestown Road, DP number 199-156.
Good to see you.
What do you have for us, Nicholas?
We got Mr. and Mrs. Herrick here, or the current residents of the house. Basically, I'll just kind of summarize how we got up to this point. So,
I'm just gonna look it up on my little handy dandy little pocket.
Sure,
Map,
yeah.
so go ahead.
So I was contacted by Anthony Tomasello, who's the attorney representing the Herricks here, and he had requested a certificate of compliance for the order of conditions that permitted their lot construction. That order of conditions was 199-156, actually permitted the entire housing development around Jamestown Road and some of the other nearby roads there. So it included a lot of different houses, so basically the certificate of compliance here would be a partial COC for 22 Jamestown Road. It was labeled as lot 4 on the original plans. However, when I went to the house, I discovered a in-ground pool in the backyard, an associated patio area that wasn't on record anywhere. And I explained to the Herricks what we typically do in this situation, asking for an after the fact, notice of intent, all of that. However, seeing as the pool was put in almost immediately after the construction of the house, which itself happened about 30 years or more ago, it's within existing lawn. The limit of lawn is true to the original plans. There's been no encroachment onto the wetlands. It's something that we almost certainly would have approved at the time if they had come before us. So DEP suggested something that some commissions do in situations like this where the alteration is very, very old and there's been no ongoing violations or issues arising from that. They suggested approving the certificate of compliance with a note about the pool in the certificate. So I have the certificate, a partial certificate, ready to be signed if you do choose to vote through the approval, with a note about the pool. And the Herricks also gave me a site plan from the building permit that they needed to acquire for the pool, that shows the area with the pool and with the orientation of the house and the lot lines and all that. So we'll have it on record. It's been there for decades. It hasn't been causing any issue. It's something that we would have approved. And so
Permitted correctly.
yes, so permitted through other departments
Through other
correctly.
departments,
Simply an oversight. So I would recommend that we approve the partial certificate of compliance for 22 Jamestown Road with a note addressing the pool.
And again, partial because the original order was for the entire development.
Yes, so it's partial specifically for 22 Jamestown Road, including the pool, originally labeled as Lot 4 on the accepted site plans.
Did the original order conditions get us, the original NOI get a certificate of compliance?
No, so the order was for the entire subdivision.
Right.
Some lots within that have gotten partial certificates, but
interesting.
the entire thing can't because no one's, I guess it could, but no one's surveyed and inspected all of the lots to
Okay.
conform it, so that's why we have a partial in this
Okay.
case.
All right. Any thoughts, questions, comments? No?
I live in the neighborhood, so.
Yes.
We're waiting for you.
So
Do I have to recuse myself?
it probably wouldn't hurt. So there's still these four of us, so yeah.
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 Okay.
I don't think it's necessary necessarily, but if you
Well,
feel,
I will just say that the pool's been in existence. I made a cannonball into that pool and it didn't collapse.
there's no mud at the bottom or anything like that. Okay.
Do I even need to ask if they approved of you doing a cannonball on that pool?
Well, they had big dogs at the time.
So you're the original homeowner?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So any,
No.
yeah, I don't think we need to recruit, no.
If you would like to, it's up to you. It's your vote, so.
Well, I'll see how it
However you
goes.
want. So I'm not to speak over you two at all. You're the ones that live there. It's your property. Is there anything that I missed there or that you wanted to add? Or?
Yeah,
Been there
no,
38 years
yeah, no, we thought
closing in the
everything was
morning.
good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we thought everything was good.
All right.
All right.
Been good.
No, there's nobody, well, this isn't an NOI, so we don't need to open it up for any public comment, so, if the commission's all set, I'll go ahead, entertain a motion to approve the.
Approve the partial
Approve the
certificate.
partial certificate of compliance for 22 Jamestown Road, number 199-156, with the note in the file that there is now a pool.
Could I think it's confusing to say it's a partial for that lot. There's gotta be some wording in there that says that lot in this project has received it.
No, so when we
I understand
issue-
it's a partial of the whole,
Right.
but that to me also says, geez, it's not really complete.
Well, with the partial, it asks you to list what parts of this project were done, so that's why I'm saying
Okay.
22 Jamestown Road or what was originally Lot 4
Okay.
And the pool.
and the pool.
Yeah. So, do I need to repeat their motion again?
Well, I just have a question about it.
Yeah.
Originally, this development was all on paper streets, and there were different setbacks because of the paper streets.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I moved in, my father-in-law is
real estate attorney, and he got right on that. Made sure that the paper streets, or the real streets were recorded down. So I just wanna, make sure that's.
Is that kind of what we're doing here tonight?
I don't know, because the
To make
way
sure the
the way the
plans-
wetlands actually moves through there, it goes into a culvert underneath the street in front of their house
Mhm.
and across to the other side of the street, so.
So that infrastructure was all approved.
Right, yeah.
But again, I'm asking.
I'm just letting you know, that's, if you haven't seen it, that's the way, this house is built near a stream, but it is set back correctly.
Yes.
But if you're, with the plans may or may not, that were approved for the building, for the construction, may or may not have been, as the land is recorded right now.
Understood, yeah. From what, how was that night? 6 o'clock.
6?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Eastern
You've been out of the
Standard Time.
game.
Eastern Standard Time.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, we changed it to just this week.
Okay, wow, sorry about
Very
that.
professional.
That's hilarious.
So, I hear what you're saying, Jim. I can confirm that the wetland lines aren't precisely as they appear on the site plans as they are today. As was mentioned, it's been 38 years, something. But
It's
yeah, all the-
recorded, it's a recorded lot.
Yeah, all the relevant information, the limit of work, the orientation, size of the house, that is all on the up and up for this, so.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm being personal about this, it's just that that wetland, that is an extenuation of the wetland that's across from my property, so I
Yes.
found
But-
much bigger wetlands.
But I'm sorry to keep, I'm still trying to figure out why is this pertinent to what we're doing here? I simply giving them a certificate of compliance for their lot as compared to what was the original plan
Well,
was.
it's pertinent only because there's been other, like to your left, there was a house built that originally there was, had to have a notice of intent
Mhm.
for that parcel, and I don't know if you looked at that. I'm not trying to inhibit what they're doing, I'm just
Right.
trying to understand
Yeah,
what
the
you've
whole
seen,
area is-
what
it's a
you've seen
difficult
from the
area,
site,
right?
yeah, that's all. I'm just trying to understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So other parcels there may or may not have gotten certificates of compliance.
Right.
And they may or may not have been doing things that might not be allowed under the Wetland Protection Act, but it's nothing that I've seen or have heard any
Yeah,
reports
I'm
on.
not, it's about the neighborhood, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. But our issue isn't with the neighborhood, our issue is with.
No, mine
this-
is.
I know, right, and that's, and pardon me, I don't care right now. The issue is with this property and what we're trying to
No,
get
well,
to.
it does matter, because the way the water flows from my property.
But that's a completely separate issue, there's
No,
nothing to do with
no,
what we're
if
doing
that-
here
if
tonight.
if there's a problem in their wetland, then that affects our wetland. So that's the only reason I asked. I wasn't trying to, I was just trying to get information from Nick. I'm not trying to,
Okay,
about the site.
okay,
That's all.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Bob, you had something?
Yeah, just to help me get over this partial thing.
Mhm.
A date when this Mayflower, I don't know the name of the project, was started, and what percent is completed by at this time here?
So from what I can, so again, the order of conditions that this house and all the rest of the development was permitted under, it was approved, there was a separate order for the street itself. I believe that order has a certificate of compliance, so the street is all wrapped up. There was a separate order for the construction of the houses along those streets. Some of those have certificates of compliance, partial certificates of compliance for this same order, but it's just referring to their individual lots. So no one has inspected 22 Jamestown Road for their partial certificate of compliance. Other lots are specifically listed as exempt because those lots themselves may be outside of 100 feet of wetlands. But the order as a whole, because the development and parts of that development were within 100 feet, that's why the order as a whole needed to be permitted under the Wetland Protection Act, but only the lots that are within that buffer need a subsequent partial certificate of compliance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then that's exactly why I asked, because you are parceling it out, parceling it out. And
Yes.
there's a whole bunch of neighbors. I just want to know if we're setting precedent for other neighbors or not. And
So typically in like real estate transactions, like has happened with them, the lawyer will dig through and find like, hey, there was never a certificate of compliance issued for this. We need to close out the permit. Sometimes that slips through the cracks, so there may have even been, property sales and things within that neighborhood. They should have a certificate of compliance if they're within the buffer for us as permitted under this order. But that may or may not come up if it's got the same owners or it just doesn't come up in the search. Your property, for example, you're across the street from them, right? So you probably would not need a certificate of compliance for your.
I'm not across the street from them.
But you're across the street from the wetland behind their house is what I'm
But
saying.
there's a pond across the street from, on
Yes.
the other side of the curb
Okay.
from my house.
So if you're within
There's
100.
drains down that whole backyard. That's why I'm asking, is because each of those houses abuts wetland.
Yeah.
They have not caused an impact. I'm not sure.
It's just
About
because
the other.
it came up in the sale. It's
Do
just
they know
because-
that you snuck in and did that cannonball?
So, yeah, so they may not have certificates of compliance and they should have them, but it's just not an issue because no one's transferring the property to anyone else or.
I never
Yeah.
heard before that this whole parcel was under the order of conditions and not the separate parcels. That's why I'm asking these questions, but thank you for the answer.
May I?
No problem.
One
Please,
more
Michael.
quick thing. So this goes back to my point of here are responsible homeowners who bought a piece of property, probably unknowing that there was an effect of the Wetlands Protection Act behind them. They came into the city and got a proper permit to put in a pool. They put in the pool, and now this could, in another city, this could have catastrophic effects on that pool might have to come, not us, but
Mhm.
some of the cities. So this has been my pet peeve all along, that when someone comes in for a building permit, somewhere along the line, the building department should be able to say, you also have to go see the Conservation Commission. They know.
And they do that now,
Now,
today. So when someone comes through, people get like a form that they need to get signed by the building
That's right, I
department,
do that.
conservation, planning,
That-
exactly,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
So sometimes people will come by and they don't even know. I always do the search, I'm like, just let me make sure where you're at, and if
Right.
they're within wetlands, then I don't sign it and I tell them what we have to do.
right, I know you do.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot about that form.
But that has not always been the case, you're absolutely right, and it probably was not the case back in the 80s and 90s, so.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
good point, thank you, Michael. Anything else before I move on? All right, so we don't need to close any public hearings, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the partial certificate of compliance for 22 Jamestown Road, DEP number 199-156.
We're happy to make that.
Thank you, Mike, is there a second?
I can second that.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, I'll take the commission's vote by roll call. Nick Venti?
There's a note regarding the pool in this, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
Aye.
Mike Seeking?
Aye.
Bob Seacard?
Aye.
Jim Chambers?
Abstain.
You weren't really.
Yeah, you want to hear from the beginning.
I'm just gonna, if you could abstain.
Yeah, yeah.
Possibly.
That was my plan.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, yes, so, and then,
Good to see you, by the way.
Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right, so motion passes 4 to 2 abstentions.
2 abstentions, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So I will, yep, I'll see you after the meeting. And we can- yep.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Good luck closing, those are always fun.
Oh my gosh,
Mm.
it's a nightmare. It's stressful.
All right, so do you need to put Stephanie in the record, or?
Yeah, I'll just say after that certificate of compliance, Stephanie is present.
Good, okay. All right, moving on, under conservation management, allowed and prohibited activities at Pierce Street Conservation Area.
Okay.
Oh.
So I did include this in the drive, and I believe I sent it out in an email. Did everyone get a chance to look at this, or?
I think they were both in the drawing.
Is this, this one? The acquisition
Yes,
one? Okay.
yes.
Yep.
Yep. So this is another part of the terms of the land
This is all
grant.
old stuff. Have you that if you want.
We need to submit a basic kind of management plan for the site to hand off to the state to give them a full picture of what's gonna be going on there and the allowed and prohibited uses, so. We do have Wendy Weeks from the mayor's office in attendance. I don't know if you wanted to speak on anything
No,
else.
but
or-
this is your,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
this is
So that,
your decision.
yeah, but that's basically it. We just need to draft the management plan to hand back to them. So the main part of that is the checklists that include the. I have a copy with me, but that have all
Is
the.
it separate, is it, do you want to reference that?
Yeah. Yeah. So we have the permitted and prohibited uses. I would
Who
recommend,
checked these up? Is that you that checked those out?
this was just preliminarily checked out by, I believe, Wendy.
This is your decision, well, I was trying to.
No,
Yeah,
that's
she
fine.
started to do this. And
That's
then
fine,
she-
just wondering, thank you.
And then she had asked my advice on it, and I said, we should bring it to the commission, because we're the ones, you're the ones that kind of make the decisions on management for conservation land, so. Just, I won't read everything, but the activities include like walking, hiking, swimming, horseback riding, fishing, hunting, all that kind of stuff. I would recommend that we continue our kind of basic authorized and prohibited uses of conservation lands that we have on all of our kind of default trailhead signs here. So those allowed activities, as depicted in the little pictograms here, are like cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, hiking, hunting, non-motorized bicycles, dogs on leashes, and fishing. And the prohibited uses include camping, fires, horseback riding, swimming, driving motorized vehicles, motorized watercraft, snowmobiles, and ATVs.
ATV/motorcycles. The only difference I see is that,
Mhm.
I think hunting was prohibited.
Hunting
Camping
is-
is prohibited,
Yeah.
or, no, camping is permitted on this list.
So that's
no,
just
that was just Wendy,
that's just the rough
yeah.
Okay.
draft of it.
Yeah.
So which are we?
I would,
which
I
is
would,
the
I would
proposed?
make it in line with this, although personally, except in the far western parts of the city, personally, I don't see hunting within the city limits should be allowed, but it says, it has it right there, so.
Yeah, we currently allow hunting on all of our publicly owned lands.
Sure, I was just noting that it was,
There are some differences that I think we
it
should
was,
just make.
it was
make
not
that-
consistent
Right, we
with.
should make
Yeah.
that align.
Yeah, that was just, that's
Yeah.
not meant to be
Yeah.
consistent with it, so let me see
Okay.
if I can check off the.
That's within 500 feet of the residence.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's other
It's a
regulations.
residential area
Mhm.
around this park.
Yeah,
Yes.
Well, you got hunting
Around
license
Pierce
here.
Street?
along the western side, yeah. Is it western
Yeah.
side?
Yeah, but I mean, there's residential around
Left.
Barrett and Prospect Park, and there is, currently, hunting is allowed on all Leominster public lands. There's no specific ordinance prohibiting hunting in any specific areas, as long as you're following all state regulations and licensing on hunting.
Does a motorized bicycle include electric bikes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
anything with a motor on it, gas or
I
electric.
mean, it's just pedal enhanced.
That is, exactly. It's rougher on the trails.
Yeah, I would imagine certain things like that probably aren't going to be enforced upon super heavily, but
Don't let me catch you.
strictly speaking, they are not allowed. The motorized vehicles of any kind are not allowed on the trails.
Is he the enforcer?
Mhm.
Yeah,
No, well, sometimes.
He can be, he's been known to be.
So I
I
would,
think the state refers to it as passive recreation, right?
yeah,
exactly,
any passive
yeah,
recreation.
Yep.
But we don't allow swimming on in public waters. I think that's just for lack of lifeguards and liability.
There's no water there anyways.
Yeah, I mean, there
Well,
is.
doesn't it go all the way up to?
No,
It does.
it's just swimmable water.
Right, yeah.
It goes up to, but doesn't include
Yeah, it
Massabesic.
doesn't include the pool.
And Massabesic is up there, but,
Massapog.
Massapog, sorry, Massabesic is up in Manchester. Massapog.
So I would restrict, I would include in the prohibited activities, horseback riding, camping, fires.
Already got fires.
Yep. It's not included in here, but alcoholic beverages, that's an option here.
Yeah, I would put that in there.
Yeah, that's on there.
Oh, it's in there, okay.
And motorized vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So horseback riding, camping, motorized vehicles, fires, swimming, and alcoholic beverages. I
Can you camp in Leominster State Forest?
Not,
Really?
not without permission from the landowner.
Leominster State Forest.
Leominster State Forest.
Leominster State Forest?
That's
I
a state
think you
property.
can.
I think you can.
I think you can.
I'm not
I
as-
don't
I'm
understand
not
the
as
restriction
privy
on
to that.
camping myself.
I was, in my mind, I had the Leominster, like, conservation lands up in that area.
Yeah.
That is restricted. The state forest lands, I'm not so sure. I think you can camp out there.
Vic?
Yeah, so I'm just questioning why you would prohibit equestrian use on that property.
That's just simply because we currently prohibit that on our default trail signs, and we just simply don't have any other signs to hang up there. But I would leave that open to, you know, we
Yeah.
could revisit that at any time. But we just,
I would just say that may be a good property to
Mhm.
do it. The pond is not a water source,
Mhm.
public drinking source.
Yeah.
The trail network that might get put in there
Mhm.
would make for some nice routes for people in the area who might want to
Yeah. I-
use horses, so.
Yeah.
I hadn't fully realized that we don't allow horseback riding on any of our trails until I was reviewing this.
And because a lot of our trails are in the watershed lands.
Yes.
Where horse activity in the
Mhm.
watershed area can lead to some
Right.
problems.
Right.
So,
Yes.
I
So-
mean, that's the primary reason, but for instance, if it were suitable, Prospect Park or Barrett Park,
Mhm.
if they were large enough or, worth it, you
And
could have horseback riding there.
Yeah, so going off what Dick said, I would agree with that. And once we make this site suitable for horseback riding, I think it would be suitable, but for now at least, just to satisfy the terms of the grant and to make this as
Yeah.
simple as possible, we should just continue the default authorized and prohibited activities. And I do think this would be a really good site for horseback riding in the future, but we can revisit that once the parking lot has been expanded and the trails are established and all
Can I
that.
ask a question?
Let Dick finish.
I would also, along these lines, have you revisit the idea of certain public properties here being closed to hunting.
Absolutely.
Due
Yeah, I
to
agree.
And
excessive public use, and
yep,
not all hunters are good hunters.
absolutely. And I'm in the middle of a discussion with Lisa Como at the Recreation Department about maybe introducing a city ordinance to specifically restrict hunting in certain areas. We could hang up signs tomorrow potentially and start doing that, but the problem would be it wouldn't be very enforceable because we don't have an ordinance for that.
So in for instance, at the hotel property, there are those, I think there are two fairly large signs that say, "No hunting at this entrance."
Yes, yeah.
And
And
what
that's
does
not-
that mean? Like, how confusing can you get?
Right, and that's not necessarily referencing a city ordinance or anything per se. It's more reflecting the state law of you can't discharge firearms within however many feet of a structure.
That,
Yeah.
that's clearly not clear to
Right.
people who see that sign.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that whole issue of hunting on a select number of our properties should be revisited.
Absolutely.
In this new one, I think because of the intense residential development around it, because it is somewhat of a isolated, open space within a larger developed area, I think eliminating hunting there would not really be a hardship. We've got roughly 2,000 acres of watershed lands that are open to hunting. We're not denying our residents the opportunity to enjoy hunting.
Sure.
Agreed, next thing. Mike, did you have something?
Yeah, what does, this might be for Wendy, if we were to restrict equestrian use in the plan that goes back to the state, can that be reversed?
It's our
I mean,
land.
As
Yeah.
far,
Yeah.
Well,
Management
but-
decisions are up to us, up to this body. So we
but
can.
but they're looking for a plan
Mhm.
to be able to review, so it does not impact.
They want a plan because moving forward, they want something on record that says what you're gonna do with that.
That we've got a plan, that we've got a plan.
Yes.
But the,
So we can change that plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
but the
That was my
permanent,
question.
yeah, but the more permanent terms of the grant are just stating like that this land will remain open for passive recreation, all that stuff. So
Perfect.
the details of that can change, but as long as
Yeah.
there's no structures being built,
Yeah.
nothing like that.
I just didn't want to see us back ourselves into a corner.
Right.
That's all.
No, that, we're open to change that.
You know, it says in here a couple times, if not more, something along the lines of, which I really like, the property is permanently protected under Article 97 of the Massachusetts Constitution and may not be converted to other uses without explicit approval of the Secretary. So there are several sentences like that I really like, that this is conservation land in perpetuity, unless something.
Well, but that part about you can't change it, is exactly my point.
But you can't, change the
develop it.
use of the
The
land
use of the land.
from anything other
Oh,
than
you
conservation.
to bring it out of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
right,
Very
Right.
difficult to
correct,
develop.
which I like,
You can't alter the area except for
Gotcha.
things that go along with that, yeah.
like trails for passive
Yeah.
recreation, yeah.
Jim, who maintains the after effects of horse trails?
That would be a good question.
Dick, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if equestrian use were to be used on the trails, trail stewards, if they accept the responsibility of maintaining the trails,
Yep.
would maintain that. And, you know, just like we work with the mountain bike community, and they're very active and they're very good. The Bay State Riders and the Mass Equestrian Society are also equally
Responsible.
active. So if we were to allow horse use there, I think you could have periodic days for trail cleanup and they would attend and help.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't see, it's a nice area, but most trail riders that I know, they want to go for 10 or 20 miles or, you know,
Right.
you do 2 or 3 miles at most on that property. It's not worth putting a horse in the trailer and driving up there and.
Right.
Well, there's no place to park either for them.
That too.
Right.
But I mean, you do
Right.
connect to a bunch of other equestrian trails in Lunenburg, and so, I mean, there's the potential to be able to
Wendy,
network out through like the snowmobilers do.
Yeah.
We gotta leave it open.
Oh, so we leave it open, that's right.
But I feel like we're kind of wrapping up here.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, just going back to the matter at hand here, I would recommend that we restrict horseback riding, motorized vehicles, fires, camping, swimming, and alcoholic beverages at this site, while allowing passive recreation such as walking, snowshoeing, dogs on leashes,
Cross-country
non-motorized
skiing.
bike, yep,
All that stuff.
cross-country skiing, fishing.
So, what do we need to vote on this plan tonight? What are we doing?
We should the commission needs to be the body to make the decision for these allowed and prohibited activities, so.
Okay.
Someone should make a motion, to prohibit certain activities and allow certain activities
Okay.
within this plan.
Anybody have any questions about any of those allowed and prohibited activities?
No.
Okay,
I agree.
okay. I'll then entertain a motion to, I guess it's approve the prohibited and allowed activities at the Pierce Street Conservation Land as described by the agent.
Mhm.
And are consistent with other properties that we
Right.
govern
Yep.
Yeah.
and steward.
Well said.
Did you say that hunting was still allowed, right?
Hunting is still allowed because we don't have any
There's no city ordinance
ordinances.
against it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, it
But that
doesn't
can-
have to be hunting. I mean, you can carry a gun and not hunt.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I'll make that motion.
Good.
Thank you. Is there a
I'll
second?
second the motion.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay. Michael, I'll take
Good
the
stuff.
commission's vote by roll call. Nick
Thanks,
Menti,
Right.
Mike Siki,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Jim Chambers, Steph Quinlan,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
And motion passes 6-0. So
All right.
those are the prohibited
I
activities.
just want to thank everybody for the support, it's a great piece of property.
Yes,
We're
yes,
all
it is.
real
You're
excited
welcome.
about it.
Nice
And
job.
thank you for your work on it, too.
Yeah.
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Wendy.
You're welcome.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Can I just ask you a quick question in regards to hunters, or do you have in your history of how long you've been working for this trails organization, any issues with hunters?
Oh, yeah,
We have, okay.
yeah. So I've had a career that's.
Can I ask you a favor? I'm sorry, since we're trying to move on here.
Yeah,
Can you
I'm
have that,
sorry.
can you have that conversation afterwards?
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, all right, thanks. Plus, these people want to get out of here.
We will be having more conversations about this in future meetings, though,
Yeah.
as we work this out. So definitely something to be
Chuck's right.
revisited.
You know, good conversation, but yeah, that's a sidebar. All right. Moving on, under budget, photocopier maintenance plan.
Yeah, so
Exciting.
my copier is very old, and we have a budget as the commission. It's about $14,000 a year for office supplies, organization membership renewals, like fees, hiring contractors, things like that. So the purchasing department here suggested, since my copier is kind of ending near the end of its life, what other offices do in here is they institute a photocopier maintenance plan, so they set aside a certain amount of their budget every year to just set aside for maintenance and possibly getting new machines and everything moving forward. It's just a relatively large budgetary change, so I just wanted to bring it before the commission before I go ahead and make any changes. So of that $14,200 that we have annually, and I have a budget.
How much is left the end, does the fiscal year end June 30th?
Yes, so currently, this year-to-date budget report, we have $14,200 in the budget total. Up to this point, we've spent $6,055 of it. So we have over $8,000 left. That's a little bit less, because I actually did renew our MACC membership today, so that was like $400-something. So, but we have almost $8,000 left at the end of this fiscal year. Obviously, sometimes we spend more, sometimes we spend less, but I would just like to set aside from some of the lesser used categories in here, like advertising, different things like that. Just set aside $1,000 a year for a photocopier maintenance plan here.
Can't you buy a new photocopier for $1,000?
All right, that's
I've been told that they're like closer
No.
to $12,000.
No, it's not even
a
close.
photocopier?
That's what I'm told.
Yeah, those things are expensive.
Yeah.
And the
It's
maintenance.
a laser printer. It is a photocopier.
You need something, are you talking a little desktop thing or?
No, like a
standalone-
photo.
Like a standalone
yeah.
thing, yeah.
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 That you
Yeah,
scan and
this isn't a little
copy.
desktop thing.
Yeah.
This is a
It's like
standalone
this big.
unit, yeah.
Is that a fax
Okay,
scanner
that's
and
like
everything?
$5,000, like,
Yeah, and get a new one, don't maintain the old junk.
I was told
Yeah.
the ones that were like they literally said $5,000 a few years ago. They're like close to $12,000.
seriously?
That's what I'm told. I haven't had to buy a photocopier ever, but
I just know they're expensive.
yeah.
So what do you need, Jim, I saw your hand first.
Do you have any expectation to spend the grand in the next 5 days?
No.
Go buy a photocopier.
Yeah.
Potentially,
I say spend it, but.
potentially a portion of that could be used to go towards a new printer, because I'm still kind of forming this in my mind and coming to understand it, but I'm told the upfront costs, if I was gonna buy a new copier, would obviously be a lot, but then going forward, the maintenance plan would be for like over time, doing repairs, or eventually buying a new copier down the road, things like that. If that money wasn't used year to year, then
Yeah.
it would go towards,
Because you turn that money back in, right? That goes back to the
General
state.
fund.
to the general fund, yeah.
Photocopiers are $12,000 and man, every department has their own, like,
Yeah.
that.
Well, I would recommend
That's
going on
crazy.
Amazon Prime or something and seeing what.
No, I mean, like, I don't know, if you can find one for like under $8,000,
Mhm.
I think that would be
Yeah. So
great.
I'm not asking to buy a new copier right now, I'm just asking for us to, would it be okay for me to reorganize the budget and set aside 1,000 of the $14,000
Do
year
we
to
need to
year?
vote on that?
as a-
Is that what a maintenance plan costs, $1,000 a
Yeah,
year?
that's what I've been told,
Okay. Bob?
or
Chuck
less.
said it right,
Yeah.
that's a yearly commitment, a contract for a year or something?
It's a internal thing within the city, like I set it up with purchasing,
Oh, okay.
and
And
then,
then purchasing handles it?
yeah, and as I understand it, the money that doesn't get used gets accumulated, and then if I need to buy a new printer like 5 years from now, then it'll come out of the maintenance plan instead of me having to find the money.
Well, then you're only gonna have $5,000.
Yeah,
Nick, can you help me out here?
yeah,
You keep saying printer.
yes.
Now,
That's what I mainly use if it's a photocopier.
Okay.
Yeah.
We see a problem with scanner tonight too. I imagine most printers that cost that much money, it's a real good scanner,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a real good fax machine,
Mhm.
it sends you files to your computers and everything.
Who faxes anymore? But anyway.
No,
A lot of people,
Medical.
a lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I've never faxed.
Is-
I'll just say that.
It's expensive.
I'm saying maybe you could look into a lease, I don't know how much a lease would be,
Uh-huh.
to buy or whatever. I don't know, I'm just wrapping my head around it.
I would come before you guys again if I was going to use money out of the budget to purchase a big expense. All I'm asking is if it's okay with you guys if I allocate 1,000 of our dollars from some of these other categories that we currently have to put into this maintenance plan. going
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think
You're
anyone
worth
is
it,
against
man.
that.
That's all I'm asking.
You're worth it.
Okay, that's it.
Now, if it broke tomorrow, could you use the other departments?
Yep.
Okay.
I have.
Yeah.
The rollers are jamming already.
They're all
See, if
networking
it's that
together.
bad, why don't you buy a new one though?
Yeah.
I don't have the money right
We have $8,000.
I'm figuring it out.
Well, let's take this
I also
first step.
I also share one with another department. that's in my
We'll take this
office,
first
so
step. If you need a new one down the road, we'll handle
So
it.
get 4,000 from them, and you're good to go.
And, okay,
We're working it
all
out.
right.
And then you can do $1,000 a
Okay.
year moving forward.
So are you
And
also?
then we should be paperless
Yep,
anyway.
I
but
just
That's another story.
wanted
Are you also, what do you
Yes,
need from us?
just last thing I'll say is, any changes and any big changes, and I consider a big change anything over a few $100s, like, I'm going to ask you guys about it.
Yeah.
So, I know it's kind of silly, but like, I'm just asking you guys, if by the next meeting, me and my office mates decide like we need a new photocopier and we have one in mind and we know what it's gonna cost, I'll come to you specifically for that. This is.
Oh, wait a minute, we're not paying for the office mates.
No,
Well, that's
no, no.
No, but is that,
This is just the maintenance plan, just going forward here.
Yeah,
is
business
that gonna be-
development.
I'd like to wrap this up soon. Can we finish this up, please?
Yeah, no, but if,
Yeah.
so if you like decide that it needs to be replaced, is that gonna be in the next fiscal year, or can you guys?
I'm not so sure. I'm just kind of going with what I got right now, and
Yeah.
it's.
I mean, it
It's
is
hobbling
what it is.
You gotta, You need a piece of equipment to do your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
All
gotta
right,
do it.
moving on.
thank you.
All right.
guys.
Yeah.
All right, so under, you guys all set?
That happened.
Oh, all right, moving on, under meeting minutes. So first of all, the June 11th minutes weren't available, so we'll forego that one. But March 26th, I wasn't here for the April 30th, but for March 26th, I read those and had no comments. Anybody else have any issues with the March 26th minutes?
I apologize, I didn't have a chance to look at it.
It's okay.
I did see some comments on there. I know Rich had taken a look at it.
Yeah.
I think some other people.
Do you want to take the time to look at it?
I'm sure they're fine. If Richard's looked at them,
Okay,
I'm pretty sure they're fine.
this is my guess, okay. All right, then, unless there are any other comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March 26th, 2024.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Nick.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
I heard Bob.
Okay.
Get your names right tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll take the commission's vote by roll. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Mike Seeke,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Jim Chambers, Steph Quinlan,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed.
All right, so I wasn't at the April 30th meeting, so I had no comments. Anybody have anything you want to mention about it? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for April 30th, 2024.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Michael, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Nick.
I'll take the vote by roll call. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Mike Seeke.
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Jim Chambers,
Aye.
Steph Quinlan,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Abstain.
Okay, so we got 5 ayes and 1 abstention. Motion passes.
All right. I looked at May 28th, I had no comments, as I recall. Anybody else have anything you want to mention about it? Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 28th, 2024.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Nick.
I'll
Second.
second.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Take the commission's vote by roll. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Mike Seeke,
Aye.
Bob Seacard,
Aye.
Jim Chambers, Steph Quinlan,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
Okay, so we got 5 ayes, 1 abstention, Jim, and motion passes.
And again, there were no meeting minutes yet available for June 11th. So, all right, moving on. Thank you, everybody. Moving on to outreach. Conservation Urban Tree Walk at City Hall, July 20th at 9 a.m.
Yep, July 20th, 9 a.m., it's a Saturday. We're gonna meet at the parking lot here, take a walk around the common, go down the Manusnock Brook Walk, look at some of the trees down there, and show off the new Monument Square. That's it.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. What kind of trees we talking about, here? Off the top of your head?
I got some nice new tulip trees,
Ooh.
some new
Those are gonna be big.
DED resistant elm trees down there, the
Nice.
existing Norway maples that have been down there forever, and a couple silver maples on the Manusnock. Silver
Silver
maples are great.
Yeah, they serve a purpose, I guess.
That's it.
Okay, cool. Well, good luck with it. It'll be fun.
Thanks.
All right. Before I move on to next meetings and adjournment, any comments, any Conservation Commission business we want to? Okay, just wanted to toss it out there. All right, so our next meeting is July 9th, 2024. The filing deadline was this past Friday, the 21st at noon. Meeting after that is July 23rd, 2024. The filing deadline will be July 5th, 2024 at noon. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Were there filings?
We got one after the fact for a driveway that was recently put in.
No.
So they should be coming on the 9th.
Okay.
And again, I won't be here tonight.
Okay.
Oh,
thank you
I
for
also
reminding-
will not be here on the night.
Okay, thank you both for reminding me.
Oh, and I will not be here July 23rd, but we'll worry about that right now.
Okay.
Rich already knows.
Yep.
With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Nick. Is there a second?
I can second that.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, Nick, Bob. Take the commission's vote by roll call. Nick Venti,
Aye.
Mike Seeke.
Aye.
Bob Seacard.
Aye.
Jim Chambers.
Aye.
Seth Quinlan.
Aye.
And Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice to have it.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
Have a wonderful
at
night and a good holiday.
7:35.